I never believed silence could scream. But that night, it did. Emma hadn't come home. No call. No text. Just silence. I stared at the lock screen on my phone. 1:27 a.m. Her last message was from 6 hours ago. Dinner ran late. Don't. Wait up, red heart. The emoji didn't match the tone. Too polished. Too deliberate. It felt like punctuation meant to cover a lie. I poured myself another drink. Not because I wanted to numb anything, but because I was too alert. The kind of alert where the world feels slightly tilted, like you're in a dream that knows too much about your fears. And then, headlights. Her car. Finally. But she didn't come in right away. I watched from the upstairs window as she sat in the car, engine off, unmoving. 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Her face was dimly lit by the dashboard. She was staring into nothing, or maybe trying to talk herself out of something. I opened the front door and stepped outside, barefoot. The cold bit into my skin, but I didn't feel it. She flinched when she saw me. "Oh, hey," she said, forcing a laugh. "Didn't think you'd still be up. You've been sitting in the driveway. Just decompressing. Long night." Something in her tone wasn't wrong, but it wasn't right either. I stepped aside. "Come in." She did. But her perfume, subtle, expensive, was layered over something else. Musk. Cologne. Not mine. The next morning, I didn't bring it up. Not yet. I needed something real, not paranoia, but things had changed. I started noticing. She flinched. When I touched her shoulder, she kept her phone on silent, screen always facing down. She laughed at things on her phone, but never shared them with me anymore. The warmth between us wasn't gone. But it was artificial now, like heat from a screensaver fireplace. And then it happened. The moment that shifted everything. She was in the shower. I wasn't snooping, not at first. I just wanted to borrow her charger from the nightstand drawer, but the phone was there. Lit up. A text. "Kyle, I can still taste you." Tonight again, I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to. Her gasp behind me said enough. She stood there, wrapped in a towel, dripping water on the carpet. I can explain. But she couldn't. Not then. Not now. We didn't speak for 2 days. On the third day, she asked if we could talk. We sat across from each other like strangers waiting for a delayed flight. She looked thinner. I hadn't noticed. Or maybe she hadn't eaten. "It started 3 months ago," she said. "Work trip. One night became more. I didn't mean to hurt you." My jaw clenched. But I said nothing. I felt invisible. Like we were roommates. Like I disappeared and you didn't notice. Her voice cracked. "It wasn't about sex," she added. "At least not only." I stood. Paced. Every cell in my body screamed to leave. But another part of me, a quieter, stubborn voice, whispered, "Know the full truth first." "Is it still happening?" I asked. Her silence was answer enough. Later that night, I sat in the dark and played back every moment of the last year. Every laugh. Every kiss. Every argument. I was trying to see if there had been a sign, a crack in the glass between us I never noticed. But the truth was worse. The glass hadn't cracked. It had fogged. I had stopped seeing her. And she had started looking elsewhere. Asterisk. We agreed on rules. Not out of logic, but survival. No yelling. No blaming. And 1 week to decide. Stay or separate. The house was cold, even with the heat running. She stayed in the guest room. I kept my distance. We were two ghosts occupying the same haunted place. On the 4th night, I couldn't sleep. I walked past the guest room. Her door was open. She sat on the bed, knees pulled to her chest, watching a video on her phone. She didn't notice me. It was him. Called out a video message. Shirtless, lying in bed. Saying her name like a secret. I walked away before I could hear more. I didn't want to memorize his voice. The next day, she asked if I wanted to talk. I did. Too much. We sat on the patio. No walls between us, just wind. "I didn't plan for it to be more than once," she said. "But he saw me. That's what it felt like." "I saw you too," I said quietly. "No," she whispered. "You remembered me. He discovered me." That cut deeper than I expected. "I never stopped loving you," she said. "But I stopped loving the life we built." It felt like a museum of what we used to be. She reached for my hand. I let her. "I want to fix it. I don't know how, but I want to try." That night, we didn't go to separate rooms. We didn't kiss, but we shared the same bed. No touching, just two people in the same silence. Finally mutual. I woke up with her head on my chest. And I didn't move, not because I forgave her, but because I didn't want the moment to end. The next few days were strange. A rhythm without melody that we went on walks, made dinner, laughed cautiously, like we were strangers learning to flirt again. One night, she came into my office wearing the sweater I loved. The soft one, long sleeves, no bra underneath. She leaned against the doorframe. "Do you still want me?" I couldn't answer. Not with words that I stood. Walked to her, pulled her close. She kissed me, slowly, hungrily, with guilt and hunger in every motion. It wasn't just about lust. It was a collision of regret and hope. Clothes fell. Bodies remembered we made love like it was the first time, but every touch carried the weight of 1,000 doubts. And after, as we lay there catching our breath, she whispered, "If I break again, promise you'll tell me. Before you shatter too." I didn't promise, asterisk. Asterisk 3 days passed. 3 days without mentions of Kyle. 3 days of shared silence, cautious touches, half smiles that felt like fragile glass. Then I saw him. By accident. Or maybe fate has a cruel sense of humor. He was standing outside a cafe downtown. Black coat, sunglasses, holding a coffee and laughing into a phone. Confident, relaxed. The kind of man who didn't lose sleep over broken homes, and I snapped that I didn't follow him. I walked straight up. "Kyle?" He looked confused for half a second. Then, realization. A flicker of smug recognition. "Oh, you must be her husband." He nodded. "Didn't think you'd want to meet." "I don't. But here we are." A beat of silence. "She told me she ended it," he said. "She told me it wasn't about sex." A small smirk tugged at his mouth. "It never is. Until it is." I wanted to hit him. God, I did. But instead I asked, "Did you love her?" That caught him off guard that he looked away. "I don't do love. I do now." "You ruined a marriage." She was already halfway gone when I met her. I just gave her permission. I took a slow breath. My fists clenched, nails digging into my palms. "She chose you." But she came back to me. He shrugged. "Maybe. But only because I let her." And that was it. Not a fight. Not an explosion. Just a slow, quiet burning that left ash in my throat that I walked away. Not because I was weak, but because I knew something he didn't. She wasn't coming back to him. But she hadn't fully come back to me either. That night, I told her. I saw him. She froze, toothbrush halfway to her mouth, and I didn't hit him. She gave a small, sad smile. "Thank you." I asked if he loved you. And what did he say? That he doesn't do love. Just now. She rinsed her mouth, looked at herself in the mirror. "I was stupid," she said. "But I wasn't blind. I knew what he was. He just reminded me what it felt like to be wanted." "You don't think I wanted you? I think you loved me in a way that became safe, quiet, predictable." And he wasn't. He was dangerous, loud, temporary. She turned to me. "But I don't want danger anymore." We stood in silence. The kind of silence that follows truth. Uncomfortable, but real. She stepped closer, put her hands on my chest. "Do you still want me?" I hesitated. Then I kissed her. That it wasn't soft. It wasn't slow. It was desperate, messy, raw. The kind of kiss that forgives nothing but needs everything. That we made love on the bathroom counter. Clothes half on, breath shallow, gasps echoing in porcelain. It wasn't romantic. It was survival. After, we collapsed on the tile floor, tangled in towels. She whispered, "I want to choose you. But you have to want to be chosen." "I don't want to be a backup plan." "You're not. You're the reason I remembered who I am." That night, I slept beside her with one arm draped across her ribs. And I kept my eyes open longer than I should have, because I was still listening for footsteps walking away again. Emma moved out on a Thursday. She didn't say goodbye the way people do in movies. No tears on the doorstep, no dramatic final kiss. Just, "I think we both need time to breathe. And don't forget to water the plant in the hallway." It's dramatic. The irony wasn't lost on me. She left with a suitcase and her laptop. Left behind a scent I didn't know I'd missed. I sat in the silence for hours, counting the hums of the refrigerator like it could replace her voice. Week 1 without her was cold. I kept thinking about the first time we met, how she bit her lip when nervous, how she used to doodle in the margins of books. Now all of that felt like a different timeline. People said, time heals. But nobody warned me time could also rot. I saw her a week later. Grocery store. By the fruit section. She was alone, wearing sunglasses indoors like she didn't want to be seen. But I saw her that we locked eyes. She smiled, weakly. You look tired. So do you. We stood there, between rows of apples and regret. I miss home. She said that I didn't know if she meant the place or me. Later that night, my phone buzzed. A message that I still wear your t-shirt to bed. The blue one that I stared at it for 10 minutes. Typed, I still sleep on your side of the bed. Deleted it. Typed, I don't know what I'm doing. Deleted that too that I in the end, I sent nothing. Because nothing felt right that a friend invited me to a dinner party that I almost didn't go. But being alone had become a cruel mirror. That's where I met her. Mila. Sharp. Funny. Not trying too hard. She had a way of laughing at your worst jokes like she saw something broken in you and decided it was beautiful anyway that we talked. For hours. When I mentioned my marriage, she didn't flinch. Some things are meant to teach us, not keep us. She said that a week later, we kissed that it wasn't passion. It was pain relief. She didn't ask for promises. I didn't offer any. She stayed the night. But in the morning, when she reached for my hand, I flinched. Because it wasn't Emma. Because it felt good, but not right. That same day, Emma showed up rain-soaked. No umbrella. Like something had snapped. I made a mistake, she said. I thought leaving would bring clarity. All it brought was silence. I didn't let her in right away. I slept with someone else, I said. She blinked. Did it feel like home? She asked. No, I admitted. It felt like forgetting. And failing. She stepped forward. Then maybe we both failed. But maybe we still get to try again. We stood there in the doorway. Like we did at the start of it all. The difference? Now we knew what breaking felt like. And maybe, just maybe, we were ready to build something that wouldn't. We didn't rush it. Emma moved back in slowly. First, her keys returned to the hook by the door. Then her jacket in the closet. Her toothbrush next to mine. Like the pieces of her were asking permission to belong again. The first nights were quiet. Shared meals, soft music, long silences. It wasn't awkward. It was sacred. Like we were learning each other again. She cooked more. I listened better. She asked questions. Not routine ones. Real ones. What did you dream about last night? Do you ever wish we'd never met? And I answered honestly. Even when it hurt. One night, over a bottle of wine, she reached for my hand. I still think about him sometimes, she said. I froze. But not because I miss him, she added quickly. Because I'm afraid I still carry who I was when I was with him. I nodded. I carry him too, I admitted. As a shadow of the man I never want to become. She leaned closer. Do you think we're stronger now? I thought about it. No. I think we're softer. And maybe that's better. Our intimacy returned in fragments. A kiss by the sink. A shared laugh in the shower. Her hand resting on my thigh during a movie. It wasn't fireworks. It was the warmth of a fire that didn't need to prove itself. That we talked about therapy. About setting new boundaries. But one night changed things. That we had dinner with friends. The first time in months. And one of them said, half joking, so how's married life? Still in the honeymoon phase. I laughed. Emma didn't. Later, in the car, she said, why did that question bother me so much? Because it reminded us we never really had one. She nodded, eyes glassy. I want a second first time, she whispered. So we made one. That we booked a weekend cabin. No phones. No distractions. That we pretended we'd just met. Gave each other fake names. Reintroduced ourselves like strangers falling in love. That we played cards. Made love like we didn't know where each scar came from. She cried after. Not from pain. From relief. I thought I'd never feel this again, she said. You never lost it, I whispered. You just stopped believing it was real. That night, she handed me a small envelope. Inside, a note. One sentence. That I forgive you for. Not noticing I was disappearing. That I looked up. And I forgive you, I said, for vanishing without saying goodbye. We slept with no space between us. For the first time in a long time, I didn't wonder if she'd leave again. And she didn't check her phone, because there was no one left to run to, just a glass between us. Finally wiped clean. Chapter 6. The truth and the fire. There are two kinds of secrets. The kind you hide from others, and the kind you hide from yourself. I thought we had cleared everything. That what lay between us now was nothing but healing, but peace has a sound. And lately, it had been too quiet. One night, I found Emma sitting at the kitchen table long past midnight. Her laptop open. The glow of the screen painting her face in pale guilt. She didn't hear me at first. Still can't sleep? I asked. She jumped. slammed the lid closed. Just work. But I saw it, the brief flash of an email. The name on it. Called out. I didn't say anything. I just stared. I didn't reply, she said quickly. He wrote to say goodbye. He's moving. That's all. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to ruin what we were fixing. But keeping it secret does that anyway. She nodded, eyes full of storm. I panicked. I thought if I told you, it would undo everything we've tried to build again. I sat across from her. I'm not afraid of Kyle anymore. I'm afraid of you not trusting me with the truth. The next morning, she left her phone on the table. Unlock.as if saying, check it. I'm not hiding anymore. I didn't, because I knew that if I looked, I'd be measuring again. And I didn't want a marriage built on scales, but peace didn't return. The silence wasn't healing anymore. It was watchful. We went to dinner with friends again. I watched her smile, laugh, tilt her head, the way she did with me years ago, but I saw a man across the table watching her too. Lingering gaze. Familiar. After dessert, he approached her by the restroom. I followed. Just far enough to hear, you didn't reply. He said it wasn't Kyle, another man. Same danger. She stiffened. That's because I wasn't supposed to. Please don't contact me again. He leaned closer. You sure about that? She turned and saw me. Her face drained of color. He smiled and walked away. Back home, we didn't talk. I poured whiskey. She stood in the doorway like a ghost. Who was that? I asked finally. Nobody. A mistake. Months ago. After Kyle. Before I came home. So there was more shadows. I didn't lie, she said. I just chose not to reopen wounds. I thought it didn't matter if I came back for good. But it does, I said. Because now I don't know what part of you is real. She broke then, not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet fall to the floor, knees to chest, like shame itself had weight. I'm trying, she whispered. I'm trying every day not to mess this up. But it's like I'm walking a tightrope with no net. And you're the only thing keeping me balanced. I knelt beside her. I don't need you perfect, I said. I just need you honest. That night, we burned everything. Old letters. Photos from the in-between times. Deleted emails. Threw away the second phone I never asked about but knew existed that we didn't speak. But fire has a way of making silence feel like action. She looked at the flames and whispered, I want to be new. And I said, then we start now. A year passed. The house felt warmer now. Not because we replaced the windows or bought new lamps, but because we didn't whisper anymore, that we said everything. The hard things. The beautiful things. The things we thought might scare the other away. And somehow, the more truth we added, the more peace we built. Emma got a new job. Different field. Less travel. More roots. I started therapy on my own. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand the parts of me that ignored her when she started to disappear, that we weren't perfect, that we had fights. About laundry. About money. About the dishes. But we didn't have silence. And that made all the difference. Point one. Evening, we sat on the porch, wine in hand, legs tangled. She said, do you ever think about him? I didn't pretend to ask who. Sometimes, I said. But not with anger. More like a scar I don't need to touch anymore. She nodded. Me too. Then, do you think we ever really forgave each other? I thought about it. No. I said, I think we just stopped needing to punish each other. She smiled. Maybe that's what forgiveness is. We sat there as the sun dipped behind the rooftops. Not as husband and wife in crisis, but as people who had survived something. Together, not untouched, but whole.